I'm walking on a tightrope, and I wish I could touch the ground. My future's covered in smoke, but my head is up in the clouds. And maybe this will all fade after one bad day, and I'll be okay. But my life is in the worst place, and I can't wait for heartbreak from my mistakes. I don't wanna burn these bridges anymore. It's easy to say things you don't mean when you're at war. I'm just too tired to fight, but there's an end in sight. Wave the white flag, I'm yours tonight. 'Cause my heart can't take these heights. I need your love with me for life. I need your love, I need your love with me for life. Sorry it ended this way. Sorry, I need your love with me for life. I'm sorry it ended this way. I know I made wrong mistakes. I need your love with me for life. Brand new state, change your name. Covered up scars from your parents' place. It's everything you need to move on. On my neck, wasted breath, trying to get with that someone next. I've never been the type to move on. Yeah, I never thought you were social, and now everybody knows your name. I know you'll take the world over, but I hope you don't forget this place. Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. I know you're chasing my dream, but if you visit my street, don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. Not far from the top, you're never gonna drop. Running my mouth for the race I lost. It's hopeless, puddles to oceans. Compare our devotions. Yeah, I wouldn't wanna end your party. Don't pity first or second. First want to know who you think you are. 'Cause I never thought you were social, and now everybody knows your name. I know you'll take the world over, but I hope you don't forget this place. Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. I know you're chasing my dream, but if you visit my street, don't you forget about me.
evening and welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight you are joining us for our coverage of ABC Collegiate Overwatch as Boise State is prepared to go up tonight against two big rivals, UNLV and Northeastern. Should be a very competitive, very interesting match for us tonight. I'm your host Jacob Palmer, joined by Brenner Ladd, covering all of the action for you tonight. And this is one of the first broadcasts that we will have in Overwatch 2 with Control, Hybrid, Escort, Push being the stages, but still the familiar 3-3 that we are used to in terms of ABC Overwatch.
Yeah, and hopefully we might be able to see Push tonight. It is going to be our kind of, if we get to a draw, that's going to be the match to decide it all, if we can get to that point, as it is both these matches just being a best of 3, as you just stated. And we already know the starting maps for Control, at least, of we're going to kick things off with Lijiang Tower, kind of Boise State classic that they just have always been tried and true on. And especially now with Overwatch 2 of just having the only one tank, they have had to just perfect their strategies that much more. And so going into the tank roster, I just hope not to see the Doomfist, because that's always lends to, all right, everyone go do your 1v1s type situation. And so with the Overwatch 2 meta of like, it's either all 1v1s or just hard team commit to something, I would hope to see Boise State with the hard team commit. So something like the Orisa or even a Winston for more divey could come out here.
Well, we can take a look at the event overall and see how the rules are shaking up. It is 5v5 competitive, best of 3, Control, Hybrid, Escort, Control, Hybrid, Push, if you will, and then $63,000 in total pricing. So a lot at stake for this season. And a lot of the Overwatch has just kind of been on hiatus a little. We've had a few final Overwatch 1 tournaments here and there, but everyone's been waiting for the big release of the sequel. Boise State is ready to show their stuff. And of course, that means to follow Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch. And that means never take a fair fight. And that means to boop hard, boop fast, boop well. I wonder if they're trying to tell us something, if we're going to see a certain hero. Anyway, those are Doc's keys to the game, brought to us by Drop In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you.
So all eyes are going to be on Bagel for that Lucio, I think.
Yeah,
just a hunch, you know. You never can't be too sure. But
well, and Lijiang Tower, to be fair, if we're starting out on Gardens, then that's Boise State's bread and butter. I mean, the other team charge the point at your own risk, because Boise State
don't play Symmetra is the suggestion we can give them for sure.
Play Symmetra on Night Market, but not on Gardens.
Yeah,
one is very good. The other is going to get you team wiped. We can also, speaking of Team C, Boise State. It looks like it's going to be Clear, Plato, Chosen, Maxwell, and of course Bagel coming in there. So yeah, I think the pieces are starting to fall into place for us seeing a lot of Lucio tonight.
Well, I'm actually excited then for our second match, which we know the starting map for that as well, which will then be Busan. So get the Lucio in now while we can.
It has been a hot minute since we've seen Busan too. It's normally what we see just in this first stage, which is Lijiang Tower being first. Looks like Doc is rallying the team, giving them a final wave goodbye before Boise State is ready to head up against the Rebels, the Broncos and Rebels in the ABC Overwatch Collegiate Champion. Two extreme rivals against each other. I mean, these teams, their rivalry in the Mountain West Overwatch has been historic. Both these teams have been Mountain West champions in Overwatch, so we'll see how they do as we're ready to head into Market. We're ready to head into Market.
Anyway, now, unfortunately, this was your
still
last
one of those
game
things
at
that we're
Worlds. How
getting
do you
used to
look
the
back at everything
adjustment
overall,
that
and maybe
Overwatch
what
2 is
could've
made
gone
of.
better?
It's not night anymore.
Well, we're going to start things off, and Boise State in the blue is not going to be going for the Symmetra teleport. In fact, no doubt having only 5 players is going to be changing that. Chosen already gets a pick onto their Sombra. Clear is just continuing on forward, charging up the Zarya, already up past 50 into the 60s. Is doing a great job clearing out the point for Boise State's going to take pretty easily.
Yeah, they had a really good engage there, and QWERTY on this Winston was pretty far in the back line, whereas Clear on this Zarya took that front line as the tank should and really excelled there, and seems that the Sombra also just getting caught out pretty early on, not able to get the hack off in time. And Clear's even doing decent on his charge as well, getting that just consistent damage output. Plato's able to slide out of the way as the Winston's finally going in, but They're also going to have to watch out for the Reaper, who can just teleport right on top of them. So it seems that UNLV wants to get up close and personal, but Plato barely is able to survive with that rail shot.
Yeah, that's always the best moment for a Sojourn. You just turn the tides completely around with one crucial right click, and already he's halfway to charging up that railgun again. They're even going to get a stagger onto Kern and another boop onto UNLV. It looks like Doc's Keys the game were in fact telling us something.
Yeah, especially with the elimination, it's not environmental. He just got it with like the 10 damage that the boop does itself, so respect onto Bagel for able to accomplish that, because it just seems like they have been breaking up into kind of a 2 and 3 where it's Maxwell and Bagel going in, diving in as he pulls out the Dragon Blade, trying to find at least one here, or will be able to pick up at least the Reaper, but that will be all he's able to achieve with no nano. Dragon Blade's still just not that big of a game changer ult as it used to be.
Doesn't really matter if Boise State is just keeping them from the point entirely. Past 71% already sitting on their Sojourn ult. Going to be having the Graviton Surge available pretty quickly as well. The only thing that they really have, UNLV, is just one lone ultimate. They might try to wait until that EMP, but they do not have that luxury. Going past 85% final fight territory. One key railgun shot. Boise State is now going ham on UNLV. Their Winston is going to jump in, but Boise State just melts them with the help of that Coalescence.
Yeah, and also he jumped in by his lonesome. The only person there to try to follow him up was the Reaper, who did get that nano, but they were just so split apart, they never even got to the point. And Plato just was doing very well with those railgun shots as well. Even we saw a quick little highlight of the Sombra goes in and hacks him, tries to get down, but the hack lasts so little time that he can quickly get that railgun shot off on a clean headshot. So Boise State doing very well. UNLV just having a rough time getting a footing to try to push forward here.
Next stage on Legion is going to be Control Center, so still dodging that garden threat that we've been hyping up so much. Boise State just might take it off the table with a 2-0 beforehand. Normally, as things go out here, we see a lot of fighting kind of off to the side of the point, not quite clear into this territory, but generally in White Room is where they start things out.
Yeah, and we did see a brief little second of what the team roster was, and we did see Symmetra that was quickly swapped off, and Maxwell returned to the Genji, so it seems Symmetra is no longer the favorite here, as finally UNLV's Sojourn has beginning to come online, and they're able to take down Chosen pretty early on. That's main heals. Boise State gonna have to play a little bit further back. Now losing both heals means that they will not be able to hold this fight.
Claire is hurting on to health. He gets taken out by QWERTY to side. Plato and Maxwell doing work on their DPSs.
Ooh.
They're also hurting for health. Maxwell's gonna have to head back just a little bit. A miss on the railgun shot. Boise State is just gonna have to go for the reset as UNLV gets the first pick. Nicely placed on that AoE damage, but not gonna be quite. Actually, that is enough to just put UNLV off the point.
Yeah, just getting that single pick onto Sojourn. Maxwell did push up a little bit farther, will get taken down by the Reaper. However, after getting that elimination onto the Immortality Field means that they have the advantage fighting on point here, but the heals are coming online for UNLV right now. Oh, as Boise State loses their own Immortality Field, and Clear goes down as well. The Sojourn ult did come out, but was unable to get any big eliminations from it. Instead, Bagel gets another boop onto QWERTY. Bagel's right now just getting all the eliminations with his right click.
Reaper is going to Wraith away. It's still enough for UNLV to be maintaining control of the point, as Boise State has been very much unable to dislodge the Rebels. They're going to be sitting on a couple of crucial ultimates here. Amp Matrix first dropped out by UNLV. It's going to put Boise State into some awkward sidelines as they wait that one out. They throw out the Graviton Surge, the Rebels. Boise State is able to dodge it and actually get the demo onto QWERTY. Now they bring back their own Graviton Surge. Maxwell's going in with the Dragon Blade too, and that's going to be a wipe for Boise State. They get the point back.
Yeah, it seems that QWERTY maybe jumped the gun there, throwing out that grab, and didn't have the team to back him up. So by the time they had rotated around, the grab was already expired. QWERTY was down, and then it allowed Clear to throw down his own grab, get the 3-mate, and allow them to swing that fight. So well played from Boise State, being able to keep things together and be a bit more reserved in that ability usage, waiting for UNLV to be in the wrong position. As the Beyblade comes out from Reaper, able to take down clear, but Plato with a nice air shot of that railgun will be able to take down the UNLV Soldier. Her now makes it a double, gets a triple, make that a quad for Plato.
I think Sojourn is just made for those DPS players that miss the mobility of Soldier 76, but also wanted kind of the pinpoint accuracy, the ability to pop off like you see on a Widow, and they just kind of combined the two.
Yep.
And Plato is certainly having no problem with that. He's going to be peppering some damage. Miss on that railgun shot, but still putting some damage onto the choke. UNLV not taking anything major.
Yeah, they're really just looking for an opening here. They don't have any ults to try to engage with. So we're going to swap over to Chosen on the Moira. As we all know, the golden DPS of every single team. Able to finally get that Lucio, trying to hide behind that wall, unable to get there in time. So already being down to support, UNLV's going to have to go on the retreat. So Boise State's just going to run over them. With Maxwell finally dashing in, getting plenty of those right clicks, just point blank damage. He's practically just being a Reaper at that point.
Maxwell now ready with the Dragon Blade. Another Graviton Surge from Boise State. They have the advantage in terms of ultimates for this final team engage, and Maxwell showing off that top 500 spray, ready to let us know he's about to make the play. We're going to see the combo with the Graviton Surge. Bye-bye to the Rebels, and that claims it for Boise State.
At this point, I think you would at least say UNLV got to 69%, so it was pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that one whatsoever. All I got to say is that Boise State doing a great job. We'll see who the play of the game. Actually, I guess we won't. You know what?
If I had to
Everyone
guess.
is a winner in my book. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It would have to be Soldier. Yeah, just being great on this railgun. Actually, also, you don't necessarily have to get the railgun. It's going to take it away from the Dragon Blade and just give it to the Molly, if you will, from Plato.
Sure. I mean, take it where you can.
All right, top 5 plays of the game are brought to you by Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. So now we enter the first part of the match tonight, where we do not know ahead of time what is going to be brought out. There are a lot of escort maps to choose from, although now that I remember that we are doing hybrid escort, then that mainly means there's only one choice.
Sadly, yes. I mean, we have seen occasional choices away from it. We've seen Boise State go on to Numbani here and there.
Yeah, if we're lucky. I mean,
we're lucky.
That's the most variety we can ever hope for on hybrid.
I mean, the dream will always be the return of Blizzard World. The dream would be, but no one ever chooses it.
Yeah,
That's why it's a dream and not a reality.
It's not Boise State's choice either.
Yeah.
It's UNLV's.
Who knows what it could be? It's totally up in the air. Definitely not a 99 to 1%.
The interesting thing is that both stages, both Lijon and Kings Row, are the ones that have been changed from nighttime to daytime.
Yep.
So we could be seeing a pattern, as much as we can see of that
Hopefully
pattern.
not, because I actually really enjoyed the nighttime. It just was more... had better ambiance.
Yeah, but
Daytime's kind of weird.
The matches already end in. Yeah, we are going to be in fact go into Kings Row.
What a surprise!
But the matches already end in the last section anyway in the factory, and once you're in there, you can't even tell the difference.
Exactly.
So the most important
Lighting's
part
all the
of
same.
the stage is basically the same for us.
We have seen a couple teams as well be able to hold at the archway after the point has been capped. So hopefully we can see that change, because once the cart gets past the archway, it's been a lot harder to hold around those angles. But if you can have that close hold at the archway, it'll last much longer, and we don't get to see that point 3, which is ideal situation for a lot of these teams to not have to go all that way. So fingers crossed we can see a little bit change up of what might happen on ye old Kings Row.
Well, let's head into the action and see if Boise State is going to be able to claim the victory. Remember, this is best of 3, so we could end things up very quickly here. Just stop the night early and be ready for a match with Northeastern. Right after we get into this second game, Boise State versus UNLV in ABC Collegiate Overwatch. So we're ready to head into the stage. We'll see what the teams decide to bring out. If we will see any of that traditional kind of brawly composition.
Wall and maul.
Yeah, wall and maul, if May is still indeed as viable here in Overwatch 2. But we'll always see.
I personally would say not as much now that they have taken away her freeze from her
That is
M1.
true.
So I think Wallenmal May has fallen from grace. So unless they really just want that May wall, outside of it, you're not going to get as much capitalization from it as we take a look back on the replays of the prior map as we are getting ready to load into King's Row. And I wouldn't be surprised if the entire time we were just hiding Plato and Maxwell.
But just remember, to a lot of players in Overwatch, May is Bay, okay? There's a very dedicated fan base, so don't ever let her down, and she won't let you down. Even without freeze, she's still cooking.
You're talking to the wrong man here. I'm a Mercy main at heart, my guy, and she's the one who will not let you down because she can literally just bring you back to life.
That is true. That is true. And
But yet we still have yet
she
to
never
even see her.
touches down herself because she's just always in the air.
I know,
if you
the
get
new
farm
jumping
Mercy.
mechanic has actually been very fun from what I've seen of it, of just, oh, you want to touch ground, pleb? No, it's just the new infinite bar flying, but now Mercy has it as well, which is just so much fun that you can just always be that verticality element, which is why I am dying to see Battle Mercy come into its own fruition now that she can pretty much be the solo player around the tank, just constantly jumping off of them. So fingers crossed we might see a little of that, but it's going to seem a near mirror match with only Plato and Wild being the difference here.
Going to see a run it back also with Plato. Actually still sticking on that Sojourn. We basically have the same thing we saw last time, but the BAP is going to be brought in for Chosen, so kind of have the effective 3 DPS, but hey, you know, Clear, if he wants to be a DPS on tank, he can do that just as well. He's going to pick up the double, the rest fall like dominoes, and Boise State claims the point with almost no effort whatsoever.
Yeah, they went through that hotel rotation it seems, on the defense of all things, and Boise State was just standing on point the whole time, getting free percentage. They were never there trying to defend it, so a little bit of maybe miscommunication on the side of UNLV. Hopefully we can see them tighten things up here as they're just trying to regroup from spawns right now. Oh, Maxwell definitely getting very aggro here, will get hacked, which means he has to retreat and pick up the health pack in the bar.
Whole lot of damage being exchanged and some zoning thrown out into these narrow streetways. But Boise State showing really no signs that they're going to stop, but no picks for either team thus yet. They're trying to also play Zarya dance and not trying to charge her up too much, and we see almost Boise State is almost able to take out some members of UNLV. Wildwing also went very low on health, but it's Maxwell who falls first, so Boise State now not at full strength, going to be kept at bay. Both the Zaryas are now pretty darn charged up.
Ooh, nice early wall coming out from Boise State to try to go for that engagement as Clear just runs right past it, doesn't even need its help. And they even managed to push UNLV off their own wall. So Boise State just having that higher DPS output with the help of that Sojourn against the Sombra. And with the ultimate coming out, we'll be able to take out both healers of UNLV. So that means Boise State will have taken this fight, and now it's just cleanup.
That is going to be everyone gone for UNLV. Boise State picks up yet another team wipe. They continue charging forward toward the second checkpoint. UNLV is now going to have some stuff that they can counter with. They've got some good setups and some damage to follow it up.
Yeah, they got their 4 ultimates coming online, just waiting for that sound barrier to build up very quickly, as we all know it will. So looking to engage with that Graviton Surge that Boise State might be even able to counter as the Dragon Blade comes out for Boise State first, and both Graviton Surges back to back, and both Dragon Blades. Now the sound barrier from UNLV is going to come out to answer as they're able to get the elimination onto Maxwell, quickly followed by the Immortality Field. Boise State's running out of utility, but Clear is going to come in with the damage at that 80%, is dealing so much as a Symmetra at this point that UNLV just wasn't able to out-sustain them.
Yeah, well, it is a pretty good, you know, counter to the other Graviton Surge. If you just throw one out yourself and make sure both teams can't move for the next 5 seconds. They were able to basically just wipe every single ultimate away from the Rebels, save for this one hack that is still available.
And we're back to nighttime Kings Row and the indoor third point. Who would have guessed? But this Sombra falling very low with the hacked health pack will be able to pick it up. But Plato and Clear are able to get the rotations in and get the elimination onto the Baptiste as well. So already in +2 for this fight, able to get a ton of distance here. They're already halfway through this third point. Now Maxwell's just camping them in their spawn. He's able to play so aggressive here, and they don't have anything to answer as only the 2 healers are currently alive.
They're going to poke their head out, just the Lucio, and Going to force Boise State to reposition just somewhat. They throw down the window and a whole bunch of damage being placed onto those doorways. Huge hack onto the Broncos. That's going to get 3, but Plato with the railgun is holding things down. Now he's going to be able to use that railgun even more as the ultimate has been charged. Going after this Genji, tries a punch to the face, another shot, and the UNLV falls yet again to the Broncos.
I would say that was a very late Widow swap. I would have hoped to see that as soon as they got the checkpoint to try to regroup and get the early pick, especially into Maxwell, who is just always in their face. Plato was playing very close to their healers, trying to be kind of that secondary tank that we did end up losing. So it is beautiful to see how well Boise State has been able to perfect this Overwatch 2 strategy for how little it's been out. But right now, UNLV needs to look for an opening now on the attack here. This is where the hotel rotation could work out for them, but this time they definitely need to be on point.
One thing that definitely kind of has changed is definitely see Boise State just basically won almost everything here, but we don't see quite the amount of outrageous timing that we used to see on Kings Row. It has been dialed back just a little bit.
A little bit. Tiny bit.
Just a little bit. No more 6-minute overtimes that we're going into. Now we get 4-minute overtimes.
One of the very few positives of Overwatch 2 is just how quickly.
Hey, I like, you know, credit to UNLV. I want to see some people make Somber work because I love that change of the damage boost
It's
onto the
something that I've been seeing in Quick Play nonstop is as soon as you catch her, she goes down, but she is such a nuisance. I would say even amplified from Overwatch 1 because you don't have nearly as many people that can now deal with her. So as soon as you find her, you just have to turn on her. So she can definitely just be that thorn in your side that you at some point have to address, but it seems that UNLV is going to try to change up their strategy and bring out a Winston this time.
Boise State now looking to hold a perfect defense.
Ooh, the Ana in the back line.
Wow, Maxwell just gets right in their faces, takes out the Ana. Now it's trying to put some pressure onto this Tracer. We're going to see Immortality Field thrown down by Boise State, quickly gets taken out.
Yeah, with how much of a dive comp UNLV has, I'm surprised they went for the Ana rather than something of a Moira who could keep up with the rest of the team. And so Kern is going to be in a very dangerous situation with Maxwell just always looking to have an opportunity to collapse on this Ana in the backline.
A whole bunch of range damage being thrown out by Clear, but he still hasn't reached quite the charge that he wants on this Zarya. So looking for that out more damage. We're going to see one of UNLV manages to get through. I see Karma back there trying to sneaky flank, but while he's trying to flank, the Genji battle goes in favor of Boise State. Now their Lucio's really hurting for health. Maxwell's going to put even more pressure onto Kern, takes out QWERTY. Boise State has already drained over a minute from UNLV's time bank.
Yeah, 2:45 remaining on the board. UNLV is finally getting ultimates to come online, or at least they have the Nano, but she's going to have to hold on to that until they can maybe get even the Pulse Bomb or Primal Rage. If they want to wait long enough for the Dragon Blade, they could, but that is a lot of time that Boise State's just going to gain for free at this point, especially since they already have 3 ultimates built up, soon to be 4. Here comes out the Sojourn ult and the Graviton Surge. Charged very quickly, while the least able to get first blood of that team fight, but Max is going to close it out with his own Dragon Blade. Right now, UNLV is just trying to push as far as they can, able to at least get the elimination on Plato, but they're so split apart right now that they won't be able to capitalize off that Pulse Bomb, as Wild's just going to get the elimination on the Chosen.
And that actual huge split up actually ends up working in favor for UNLV. They are able to take the first point. Spent about half their time to do it, but it's still very much in their wheelhouse unless Boise State can stage a quick retake. They're going to have one last chance here with a sound barrier as well. Clear goes, bites the dust, and Bagel trying to turn things around, but it's not going to be enough to prevent the payload from going over to the Rebels.
Yeah, had Boise State been able to keep Clear alive, they would have taken that. But right now, the Primal Rage is tearing up the backline of Boise State, causing mass chaos as Chosen goes down quickly, followed by Maxwell. So now Boise State's going to have to go for a reset here. But UNLV is not taking the space that they can afford right now. Is definitely going to hurt them in the long run, as Winston finally will leap forward and push Plato back. But UNLV took a long time to take that corner.
Continuing to push forward. Only their Winston is really poking around to that corner, so finally going to go in. Pickens for the Sojourn. And a Dragon Blade on top of that takes out the Broncos. A double Maxwell's trying to clean things up. Clear is able to put an end to the Dragon Blade's reign of terror, but it's not going to be enough to keep UNLV from pushing. They are already halfway to the checkpoint.
I'm very happy that Kern finally swapped over to the Moira. Has definitely been getting a much more value than that Ana was, especially around these corners. Doesn't favor the longer range, but right now Boise State needs to regroup and try to contest this checkpoint here, as UNLV is having the advantage right now. They do have that pulse bomb and sound barrier that Boise State has to be very aware of, as the window comes out, placed pretty far back, but will simply be line of sighted by UNLV, going for the rotation around the side. Tries to possibly collapse on the back line. So it's going to be on the Clear to take down Cordy, and he will. Now the Dragon Blade coming out from Maxwell will be able to take down Kern, looking for the Lucio. Instead, Clear picks him up. So now he takes down the Genji, and that's a team kill.
Nice job for the Broncos, keeping it in the wheelhouse. Able to stop it from going into the factory, and it's now going to have a chance to drain even more time away from UNLV.
They have at least 2 ultimates to try to push back on UNLV's 3, whereas Primal Rage is 2/3 done. If he can get enough damage output, he will be able to charge that, but with how aggressive he would have to play to do that, I would be worried, as an early grab is going to come out around the corner. They don't have a ton of sightlines, so UNLV is going to be able to survive with the help of both Coalescence and Sound Barrier. Both ults used very early, which will allow Maxwell to get the elimination onto the Genji and Cordy and Kern. That's the end of the fight for UNLV.
That is a huge victory for the Broncos, considering that the Rebels spent everything they had. But the one thing that might change it around is, like, this Primal Fury has been a consistent, Primal Rage has been a consistent problem for Boise State, and Cordy's going to be on it again.
Yeah, he just had that target prioritization of go on Chosen, disrupt him, knock him out of the Immortality field, and he gets it. So now, Bagel's going to have to answer it with his Sound Barrier. Still waiting for window opportunity as the Primal Rage came out for Cordy, but he's in that back line. You got to get him off your healers here, as Clear is able to get a pick in the front lane, but Bagel's able to get the melee onto the Genji, and Cordy, he was finally able to get Chosen after all that commitment, but he left so much of the backline exposed that Boise State's able to clear and out-sustain him.
Clear, speaking of, is all charged up on the Zarya, basically at max 100. Going to be able to put on a whole bunch of damage with the help of this Graviton Surge, and UNLV now is in the worst position here, not having any ultimates. Maybe they can get the Dragon Blade up. They have to win this team fight. This is going to be their last chance.
Yeah, going right onto main heals, as Maxwell does go down to Cordy, but losing main heals and your secondary DPS is not great if UNLV wants to at least try to get to the cart here with only 20 seconds remaining. The Genji is able to at least touch, but we're not even at overtime yet as Plato takes him down.
Any pick here onto Kern or Wild Weed would be absolutely huge and guarantee that UNLV can't fight as a whole team. They're going to head back so that they can get one final team fight. 10 seconds left.
Ooh.
Starting off with the window.
Yeah, window and the Sojourner with Cordy just stuck in the air. Such a free target. That Boise State. Such a dominating victory on Kings Row. I wonder why it's their preferred map.
Well, you know, if it's the most popular stage, then it must be because a lot of teams play on it, and therefore they're good
Well
and clear.
deserved.
Especially on the Zarya toward the end, was just melting people with that left click.
That third DPS, who just also happens to have 475 health, Clear's just been dominating in this matchup. I was very surprised that UNLV did not swap off the Winston sooner with how much it wasn't getting that value after that second Primal Rage, but good on them for at least committing to the team comp to try to learn it better with so much little time that we've had with Overwatch 2 to try to learn these out. So Boise State with that Zarya, though, it's been a menace.
Yeah, and I thought Doomfist all along was the DPS who became a tank, but it seems like in this
Zarya
case
is
it's
just
Zarya, yeah. Well, great job to the Broncos for winning that match against the Rebels. We do have a player of the game, so we get to do some nominations. I know Clear was given play of the game last time, but that's only if we take into account Kings Row. We also have to take into account what happened on Lijiang.
I mean, but even in Lijiang, Clear was consistent on the Zarya. They just stuck to what they knew worked the best, and especially just being that third DPS that it seems UNLV never really truly had an answer for. Even when they did the mirror match of the Zarya, they performed much better than they did with the Winston, but they were not able to match the level that Clear is at on that Zarya, which is why I would favor them. But being the support player that they am, that Clear was not able to perform without the help of Chosen and Bagel, and especially seeing as Doxkeys favored Bagel so heavily, I would not be surprised to see Bagel be the player of the game. So I think it could go either way between the two.
Alrighty, let's see who production has given the nod to. It is going to be, a trio, so we actually get the option. So after we spent all that time debating on who's going to be player of the game, we can spend even more time debating on who's going to be player of the game.
I mean, I would expect both DPS and Clear to be on this lineup simply because they had the flashiest plays, as all DPSs do. I always will forever highlight Chosen and Bagel. Gotta always shout out supports, keeping everybody alive, because they would not be able to get these plays without your loving support heals. And so, out of the three, being the last third, I mean, fingers crossed it's Plato at that point on the Sojourn, who is just so consistent, especially on these early Lijiang maps. No surprise there.
All right, you get your one pick, I get my one pick.
I gotta give it to Clear.
All right, if you're giving it to Clear, I'm giving it to Plato.
Oh! All right.
Because he just, on Lijiang here, was so great on these railgun shots that I think he just might have wowed production right off of the bat, and they just decided to give it to him early on, as they tend to do. They can see if one player pops off in one of the early rounds, it can be, okay, player of the game right there.
We got all of our plays from one match just consistently clicking heads. I mean, you always got to respect it as...
We're both wrong.
All right. I mean, Maxwell was the very consistent, I wouldn't say underdog of the DPS, because he was always in the kill feed on this Genji with these Dragon Blades, but very well deserved and just consistently, as we already mentioned, showing off the very fancy spray, why he deserved to be this player of the game for this highlight. And hopefully we will be able to see that continue into our second matchup of the night soon to come.
It's all brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes the team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Maxwell is your ICCU player of the game. Just some prime Genji play. I do believe we're actually seeing Clear here. So, Maxwell's still in the feed. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's doing a good job, but maybe just a little bit of a nod to Clear as well.
I mean, they were in that front line just pushing together again and again. Even with Boise State going a pseudo dive, Zarya still worked. She had the long range beam and could keep up with them. So Boise State maybe not going the traditional dive we're used to, but it worked out in the end. So they were able to come away with a victory.
Well, we'll leave you with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. That'll do it for the match of Boise State versus UNLV. Here are your top 5 plays.
Yeah, some people like me are just destined to fuck up everything that we mess with. If I was made as a joke, I don't get it. Missed the call, but I guess I got the message. Usually I fall too hard, I'm addicted to pain. And if the world's on fire, I'll be swimming in flames, yeah. Cause I'm too impatient to wait for change. I know I'm far from perfect, oh yeah. But I know I can make it work, I know I can make it work. I'm crazy, everybody knows my name, but I don't even know my name. Going insane, putting heavy on my brain, and I don't even know my name. It's a story about a ID crisis. Used to think my only future was the night shift. Brain on ADHD, autopilot. And through it all somehow I kept smiling. I can never find the right words to say. Only a handful of family ever sees my face. But I'm only human, don't we all make mistakes? I'm drowning in my head again, and my thoughts don't want me to win. They show compassion made of plastic, and I don't wanna be another tragedy, but I'd rather be dead than a skeleton dreaming about the things that he couldn't be. Cause I'm too impatient to wait for dreams.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena tonight. You are watching our coverage of ABC Collegiate Overwatch. Boise State has already won their first match of the night against UNLV, so now we'll be going over to Northeastern to see if the Broncos can close out tonight with 2 back-to-back wins. I'm still your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Brenner Ladd. And Brenner, as we're ready to head into this match, Boise State is feeling nice, feeling confident, and as we said before the break, we know the first stage, which is Busan.
Yeah, so a welcome change from the consistent Lijiang Tower, which has been again. And it's something that we not really get to see all that often. I mean, something you even said is it's a welcome. I can say this a billion times. It's a welcome change because on top of Overwatch 2 of different tank meta, different team comp meta, Sojourn being as strong as she is, Moira being the top DPS that she is, it's something we can hope to see. And not even that, on top of it all, we get a roster change up for Boise State going into this matchup. So I'm very excited to see how that might change up what they've been playing, because we all know Battle Mercy.
Well, the roster might be changing up, but the general rules that we are playing on haven't. It is still 5v5 competitive, best of 3 control, hybrid, and push. Should it go to that with $63,000 in prizing. And one of the ways to get some of that prize money, of course, is to follow Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch. That's never to take a fair fight, and that means to boop hard, boop fast, and boop well. Truer words have not been said. It's Doc's Keys to the Game, brought to us by Drop In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. Brenner, hosts, hinted at it a little bit earlier, but we do have the roster that we can look at. Matt Merck and Kell have been brought in. Both of them very good tank players, although we only have one tank slot available, which means one of them is going to have to show how well they can do in either support or DPS. I'm sure they're going to do fine, as well as Gob, Lyric, and Chosen being brought into the fold.
Yeah, and I believe Kell, our former off-tank, is going to be on DPS, as you mentioned. So Matt Merck taking over for Clear this time round. See if he can be as vicious on that Zarya as Clear was, as we highlighted in the prior match that hopefully you were able to catch. So heading into this, what main tank are you hoping to see?
No, if it's Matt Merck, I think we're seeing Wrecking Ball. It's Wrecking Ball's his main. He does insane stuff on Wrecking Ball. I just wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised at all. Just in this particular match, Boise State just lets him go with his main, go with what he's comfortable with, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah, so hopefully we will see the return of the talking hamster. But going up against Northeastern is a team that has had struggles in the past, so going into this, hopefully we can see a little bit of improvement there, especially improvement over the prior UNLV, who just really struggled to get onto point. But we're going to be starting off on Mecha Base.
Alrighty, close quarters fighting, very narrow chokes. Boise State has had some amazing wins, but has also just found themselves on the run out of those choke points as well. So we'll just have to see how it works out. We'll also see what color Boise State has been assigned, whether it be blue or red. Doesn't matter necessarily because it's control, but always good to know. And it looks like that question is going to be left unanswered for just a little bit longer, just to keep us on the edge of our seats. Pause.
Okay. As long as it wasn't like a crash or anything that has been very notorious for Overwatch 2, which is a very welcomed acknowledgement is what I would title that as. So hopefully we can get back to it very quickly. Maybe Northeastern's just shaking in their boots, getting ready to face off against the Boise State roster. But
maybe they're on the wrong side of the queue.
Or maybe someone picked Doomfist.
Or maybe, yeah, and we just had to stop this any way we possibly could.
Yeah.
Well, Boise State, while we wait, I would believe production still has a few replays from Game 1 that we can see that Boise State had against UNLV, because Boise State sure was an unstoppable force in that match. We saw great plays, and it looks like the replays have been cleared out, so I have been denied 2 times in a row here.
They're keeping tally at this point. It's like, how many times can we just knock that down?
All right, we are going back into game, which is better than replays in my book, so let's just get back into the round. Looks like that was just a bit of a tech pause. Now we move on to the fight.
No Doomfist.
No Doomfist.
But brand new sights on the Junker Queen
Now
herself.
this is interesting. We haven't seen too much of Junker Queen, but we'll see how
also Soldier
does. We said Matt Merck was going to be in it, but it's Clear playing, so I'm not sure. I'm going to have to get a little bit of a final word on that. But right now, Kell is doing work on this Soldier, picks up a double. In fact, all of them are going to get a piece of that. Get a team clear and take the point first.
Yeah, even in close range, Lyric on this, Ana is able to dish out probably too much damage, and Bagel's just having a very fun time with it. But Boise State going the double soldier route, soldier and sojourn. So
yeah, it is.
right.
So Clear is still in the game.
Probably a last-second adjustment that Boise State had to make, but nonetheless, still something that I think they'll be able to perform just as well with. Either just means we won't be able to see that wrecking ball that we got a little bit hopeful for, Matt Merck, but
Oh. I didn't see that if you didn't see it.
it's fine. We just didn't happen.
Doesn't look like it really is changing that much, because Northeastern is going to push past the choke. Bagel goes really low on health, gets hit with the Sleep Dark, and Kel cleans things up. Boise State is going to continue on their push to Northeastern, taking out more players to support and a DPS. Chair also bites the dust. Boise State going past 50%.
These teams just really like making us question all the names. We have Chair and Clear, we have Soldier and Sojourn, and now we have BSU Clear, rather than the prior normal Clear. So definitely keeping things up and on our toes, but doing all right so far. Boise State still having a commanding presence, whereas Northeastern having struggled to really get to the point. They have a nice flank going on here, but they need to get to a point in time. Poking probably wasn't the best idea because Boise State did not have any line of sight on you, so they could have gotten to point and started maybe trying to back cap if they had the opportunity. But Chair is actually finally able to take down Bagel as Chosen takes down the Lucio. So at least it's 1-for-1, but Northeastern losing 2 more, and the tank and the Nano coming out onto Kel with sights. Seems that Northeastern's going to have to kind of give that up.
Genji's going to try to get away and manages to take him out. I guess one solo ultimate deserves another. Speaking of that, Clear is just going to take out that Genji. A lot of solo ults, and it finally works out in favor of the Broncos.
Yeah, Northeastern try to get back in time with the Nano Rage. Sadly, doesn't give the speed boost it used to back in the day, so unable to get there in time.
It looks like Shrine is going to be the next choice. We can see a replay as Boise State was just able to hold Northeastern to these chokes throughout the vast majority of the match. The 1 point their tank did get through. He almost was able to get a pick onto Bagel, but Boise State, their Ana came in clutch.
Kel doing very well on that Soldier as well.
Yeah, I mean, we basically just got the both default DPSs here.
Yep. It's a hit scan meta currently.
Yep, it's the left click meta, basically.
Unless you're playing Moira, then you just hold right click and win.
Yeah, that is. We were talking about over the break just how weird it was in Beta 2 when they took away her damage orb.
It's like, you expect me to heal? How dare! Don't take away this from me. But Chosen now swapping over to the Tracer. Kel sticking on that Soldier, as well as the rest of the team comp staying to what they know, but Chosen's going to try to be that nuisance, mainly for Chair. So it's going to have to be watching out, but a nice rail shot from Frisco is going to take down Kel. Can they capitalize on it and maybe try to push out here? Still having yet to even cap the point. It's just a battle off the side by the drum. Chosen in the back lane trying to get a pick as Clear is able to take down Frisco. So it's at least 1-for-1, but Kel is back way before them. So Boise State should be able to take the advantage here.
No team touching the point yet. They're going to wait until they are done with this team fight to do that.
Bagel just with a casual triple on the Zenyatta.
Now Clear moving forward.
Chosen's already has the pulse bomb built up just from poking down that Winston nonstop. Sojourn is only up to 75 as Chair's up to 80. Should be able to get that nano line. The pulse bomb comes out though. He almost slid into the Anha for a double though. Chosen, had you timed that a little bit later, would have gotten a sick double. But nonetheless, Boise State is just going to continue to clear up Northeastern as they run out of that spawn door.
Now Northeastern is just in the traditional solo queue dilemma of just one person comes out at a time and you just get bled dry. Boise State's ultimate charges are going to be even better as they already have 2 charged up. Kel and Chosen well on their way to recharging theirs. Lyric also has that nano boost.
Yeah, right now the Northeastern is just struggling to find a foothold to at least regroup. That's not in their spawn, at least, as even the Winston's going to have to jump back and try to heal up. I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe saw a tank swap here just because Winston is very much struggling with all these different directions and is unable to leap back and forth in time. Finally, it seems Uranium is going to dash into it as Bagel is going to bring out the Transcendence to deny any damage that they could output. A beautiful anti onto all three means all three will go down, and Northeastern's, I would say, has to reset, but they're just still in their spawn.
That's the problem, and they have a nasty habit of poking their heads out one at a time. See that Genji. I wouldn't poke your head.
Yep.
It's going to be another stagger. It is just a rough time right now. And Boise State is going to cruise forward to that 100 mark.
It's just one at a time. Northeastern just, oh, will he touch it? Oh my gosh, he did it. He touched the point and Kel immediately shot him with rockets in the face and even popped his ult to be a little bit extra cheeky. So Boise State, to no one's surprise, will take a very dominating win on Busan.
Clear is going to pick up the play of the game as the Junker Queen. And at this point, yeah, it's
Even in the spawn.
even in the spawn, you are not safe.
Oh, just waited and feet touched the ground and took him out.
Well, Boise State is always looking for new members to join us in our varsity teams, as well as broadcast and actual casting positions. Top talent, along with good grades and eligibility, can increase your chances of being accepted as well. Go to boisestate.edu/esports for more info. All right, Boise State goes to the match point, looking like they're really breaking no sweat here whatsoever. It is Northeastern's chance to choose the stage, and judging how well Boise State went up against UNLV on the Standard Kings row pick, that might not be the best choice.
It's time for Blizzard World. It's time.
Let's just bring it out already.
Or Eichenwald. I would take
Eichenwald?
either. I would take either.
Okay, Blizzard. We have seen Eichenwald every now and then. It's even more
Anything
uncommon
other than
Numbani.
Kings Row is a welcomed change. I mean, yeah, Numbani's not that great, but it's not Kings Row, and it's nice. I mean, any change makes me very...
it's Kings Row.
Okay.
Yep.
So sad.
Yep, that's just the way it goes.
So
out
then
sometimes.
at least give me my Battle Mercy. Give me something.
I think
Or are you just
going to
take it all from me?
I think they're going to take it all from you.
Kill me, Smalls.
I don't think they're going to be bringing out the Mercy at this point. And if they do, it's still a huge step on whether they bring out Battle Mercy, which I still don't think so.
There's no other way to play Mercy.
There.
What? You know how I play Moira. It's right-click only. So if you bring me out on Mercy, I'm going to get headshots and nothing else.
Well, we all know how Brenner. We all know how Brenner forged his ticket to gold rank, but now at this point...
I got to diamond, sir. Thank you very much.
Nice. And on a Battle Mercy, that's not bad.
It was a lot of muting all and just going for it, and it was wonderful. I was so happy.
Yeah, that's
and my
great.
team was very envious of just... Why? Don't question it. Just don't.
Just don't question it.
Don't question it.
Oh, man, I love that. That's the Battle Mercy's best friend is mute all. All right, Boise State up against Northeastern, ready to head into the second game. This is match point for the Broncos. Broncos get the choice of what side they want to choose first. Last time we saw Broncos opt for attack. I probably wouldn't think that things have changed too much so far. But we're ready to head into Kings Row as soon as we can. Here we go.
And me?
50-50 guess. Attack or defend.
I think they still went for attack.
Boise likes being in the blue, so I could also see them very much being defense first. But Boise State's not very much of... There's not any big Reaper players that we could see from the silhouettes, as well as Sombra. So I would have to agree. They could be... Ooh, but the Junker Queen's there as well.
Yeah, so that very well could still be Boise.
It's still 50-50 at this point up in the air.
I mean, I get the sense that if Boise State wanted to end this match as fast as possible, they'd go defense. If they're that confident, they can hold them to just the first point.
Oh, and with the cheeky play like this of the Sombra behind, yep, Boise State decided to defend first, and already
Oh my goodness.
one is down. Make that two. Chosen on that Reaper, and okay, guys, it's the spawn door. You got to give them somewhere to go.
Chosen He's gonna now take the high road, take a bit of damage from that Echo. It's gonna force him to wraith back to the hotel. Now Frisco moving in, raining damage from above, and mows down Lyric. Boise State not respecting Northeastern.
Very nice engage for that Echo. Not much contention there, but seems that the Junker Queen will be able to take them out of the skies as well as the Lucio. So right now, Frisco has been the one to be the only one to get an elimination, so Bagel even has time to ferry back Lyric. He's been on break.
Oh, he's been on break. Okay.
Yes.
Excuse me.
It's just not the break portrait we're used to.
It's just he had so little ultimate charge next to the other ones. I mean, I guess it would be at 0, but still, that's just a testament to how much Boise State has been charging up their ults. Chosen already picking up a double. Northeastern
He wants
is
that
just
Beyblade.
left searching and waiting.
Yeah, Chosen's trying to get the Beyblade as quickly as possible. Already the Junker Queen ult has been charged very quickly, I might add, as well. So, could be the new contention for maybe Matt Merck on the Wrecking Ball for those mines of who can charge it faster. Bagel's even getting behind him to just push him into the fight, but that will allow the D.Va to get the elimination onto Lyric once again. But the rest of his backline will end up falling to the DPS of Boise State.
Reaper's just gonna do what the Reaper does, but trying to take out that D.Va, but she actually heads all the way back toward the spawn.
Down with the double onto both supports. If we had Bastion, I would not have been surprised to see Boise State go for a defensive Statue of Liberty play.
We have seen it.
It definitely would have been fun, but once again, Overwatch 2 not able to have the threat of Bastion as, trying to get up close and personal, but Uranium Boss is able to deny Kel the elimination on to Frisco. As a handful of ultimates able to come out, Bengal having to bring out the sound barrier to keep his team alive against Northeastern, who's finally able to output some damage. The Copycat's going to come out onto the Reaper, try to go on to Junker Queen, but with that range is unable to get it. Instead, the ultimate's going to come out and push right through them, so both support ultimates are going to have to come out, as well as the EMP to deny that utility, and Northeastern has to just run back into the door.
But they did manage to get Boise State to spend everything, so now they have two ultimates that they can use, both Dragon Blade and Self-Destruct, and actually see Reg might be trying to line it up. And yeah, just goes for the Hail Mary. Nope, doesn't work.
Yeah, they had the Lucio to run out of there as quickly as possible. Frisco's swapping over to the Soldier 76 as well. Seems they want to try a bit higher speed, just run past him maybe. I wouldn't be surprised to see even the May try to wall off a few members of Boise State, try to get +1 or 2 in this fight, but instead the Dragon Blade's going to come out, as well as the missiles to take down both Chosen and Lyric. Now Clear's going down as well. Northeastern having a very solid push here, looking to get a couple ticks on point finally.
And thus, the duality of Kings Row, you can have the best opening defense of your life, but in that final 10 seconds, always seems to come down to the end. Bagel's just going to int onto the point. Boise State's going to have to be fighting with a disadvantage in terms of raw numbers.
Yeah, right now, Chair on that third DPS of the Moira right now, getting that elimination onto Bagel no less. Now Boise State's going for the possible flank on Chosen. He's looking for that opening as they're just going to push right on the car, even past Archway, and get elimination on Frisco, even DMAC Reg. So it seems that Northeastern's just going to once again run back to their spawn.
And now we're back into the same position that we were for the last 2 minutes as well.
Never make it a short, quick death. Have to give them some semblance of hope of they can cap the point, push the car, and then new spawn point to camp them in.
They're going to be running out the...
Oh, he's on that statue, though.
And it,
Oh, okay.
well, we saw
It didn't last for too long.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the ult.
Junkrat has been brought out, and it's already doing some good damage against the Broncos. Northeastern's going to have their D.Va hacked and quickly mowed down after that.
Yeah, the Nano ulti and Junker Queen is definitely going to have a little bit fun as Sombra's just hacking the med pack all the way back in the bars. Finally, Northeastern is able to get a foothold and begin moving this card. Ooh, baby D.Va though. At 75%. Doc's personal favorite. Got to get a on cam as long as we can, but right now it seems the battle between the soldier, the Doom. Oh no, clear, no, the Doom Fist.
Even if it is the Doom Fist, he's gonna have his work cut out for him. If the rest of his team is picked off like Chosen was, but that's a big hack onto Northeastern, and Boise State quickly follows up, taking out Chair and Uranium. Just 3 left. Frisco
He wants that
taking
soldier.
a whole big amount of damage. Goes back to the health pack, and now a punch back into the Diva. Not able to take her out of her mech, however. Boise State basically has burned almost all the time that Northeastern has.
Yeah, and that entire fight, Care never dropped below half HP. Now the Sound Barrier is even coming out to keep him alive that much longer. Misses the charge. Instead, it's going to have to use the Meteor Strike to get out of there, but will also pick up the elimination onto Chair as Chosen in the center of the fight is able to bring up the Beyblade as the Self-Destruct comes out and picks up no one. Kells able to take down the Baby Diva. Seems this will be the end of Northeastern on this attack.
They managed to get 1 point, however, so they still have a winnable situation. They just have to have the defense of their lives to do it.
Yeah, they're going to have to show the Broncos how it's done on defense and hold them at the spawn door the entire time. So take a back look on player of the game, who I believe was Clear.
Alrighty, we're going to see Boise State looking to close this thing out. I do think it's interesting that we saw kind of Northeastern attempting a couple of counter picks. You know, they were on the Junker Queen and the Reaper, so you saw them trying to do some aerial play with the Echo, which did seem to have a little bit of effect, but
yeah, they had a good opening taking down. Lyric seemed to be their go-to, take him down first and then go for the rest. Sadly, they were unable to follow past that point, but at least they identified maybe the weakest spot in the Boise State lineup and can target that and try to break that open as a weak spot. But it seems Boise State, there she is. You can see the silhouette of my angel.
yeah, but I also see what I believe to be a
Mercy.
silhouette of a Farah as well.
I don't.
So
She's the distraction. She's the human shield that you need to get that damage. She shoots 1 rocket, you finish that target off. You get that kill. It's the meta. So ready for this battle, Mercy. It's going to be the best thing ever. Let's see that Penta, baby.
alrighty, you've got his wish, and oh look, the Mercy's just boosting the Farah. What a big surprise.
Bagel, no! It's okay, he's learning Mercy. He's learning Mercy. He's got to play her out the original way, learn how to play her. Oh, kills down. Get on the offensive, baby. Oh, you got the assist. Double assist.
It's going to be Chosen who's more on the offensive, getting that double, throws out the mine for the triple in midair as well. He's just going
That's a top
to do
5
all the
if I've seen it.
DPSing he needs to do. Oh, tries to take out the Zarish.
He tried to wait for the
That's
bubble.
just a frustration play.
At least got
nice
the res, uncontested. Always love seeing it. Doing best to try to keep Chosen alive in the front line. Hey man, it's Mercy gameplay. Makes me happy.
Well, Clear is kind of taking
Get
all
the
of that
double.
gameplay away with a double. Boise State now has control of the payload.
And Northeastern trying to just regroup right now and have...
Ooh, the Mercy pocket onto the Junkrat. I like it.
Yeah, he's going to have to try to keep up with her, though. Oh, he's going to go right into the May, and with a simple left click and mine, she goes down. Doesn't even have time to get it. But you got someone on him as he's going the tire. Doesn't even group away, just simply applies the damage rockets. But Chosen's tire will get eliminated. Bagel, all I want to see is 1 elimination. Please, make it happen, baby.
I think the round is going to end before that can happen, especially if Clear takes out all the potential targets, getting the pick onto Frisco. Chosen looking to clean things up. Valkyrie brought out, so if there's one opportunity to
Now's
do
the
it,
time.
it's going to be here.
Let's see it. Let's just see the world's tiniest bullets hit those heads. That's Bursty's pistols. It's sad. Has a slower fire rate than Diva's. No!
Raja,
Bagel went
Frisco,
down.
Bagel gets taken out. The point is contested, and Lyric
Oh,
is
the
trying to
solo
hold
grab
on.
survives.
Cal is still hanging in there and putting a lot of damage onto
Don't end it, Kel. I need Bagel to get one elimination,
Tower,
please.
I think Cal just wants to end it at this point.
Don't do it.
See, this is why they're almost all playing remotely, because they just didn't want to face your ire and
Ooh,
denying you the
Reggie
battle
gets-
mercy.
Kill me, Smalls.
Alrighty, that does it for the round. Boise State wins against Northeastern. We'll see what the player of the game is going to be. It is going to be chosen a proper DPS.
How
Getting-
dare you?
And he was just insane, aiming it in mid-air, making sure those trigonometry studies paid off. Quick reaction time. Beautifully played on Junkrat.
Seems that we will be able to get our very own player interview of the man himself, Clear, on that tank roll. Very excited to see how this match might have gone out for the last remaining frontliner of the Bronco lineup, seeing as he lost his fellow compatriot due to the game update.
Yeah, but overall clear. We're going to have him on stage for the interview doing a stellar job. Boise State off to a great start in the ABC Collegiate Overwatch Tournament. So I'm sure we will get to clear as soon as we can. We're just lining up the final lights and cameras. And I do think Boise State is also being very judicious in bringing the tank player on, because you can't grill them about not.
Oh, if Bagel
using
was
the-
here, baby, it'd be a very fun time. But also, Boise State was such a strong showing of 2-0ing both teams, no less. They maybe just needed to warm up on that first match and then just came up against Northeastern. It was like, all right, we're good. We're all warmed up. And it was just kind of have fun, changed up roster, allowing everyone to have kind of their moment in the spotlight on stream. As you mentioned, this is kind of one of our first Overwatch 2 streams, especially of the Boise State lineup, that we haven't had much to showcase with the game being down consistently again and again and again. So very happy to see everyone is doing well. And we even got to see much of the roster. It's not often that we get to see, you know, the Brig and the Mercy even come out. And right at the tail end, we saw the Wrecking Ball, but we didn't get to see much of his gameplay as the game ended. So hopefully we can see more variety of those tanks soon to come out. But looking forward to more Overwatch 2 here in the future.
I was just more surprised that we saw Junker Queen be brought out. I don't know if that...
How will she perform too?
Yeah, it's like we don't see that much Junker Queen, as more people just kind of go for the standard picks, if you will.
Zarya's definitely come out as one of the top favorites with how well her bubbles lasting longer, having 2 charges of either self or a teammate, and how much damage she can output. I would say she's easily damaging equal to Symmetra, and Symmetra's the dedicated damage, so curious to see how they'll play it in the future.
Well, we have the person that we can talk to that about. We have Clear up on the stage ready to talk to us, give us a post-game interview. 2 very convincing matches of Boise State sweeping them both 2-0. So I'll throw it over to Clear. Clear, what were your choices behind those 2 tanks? Because we haven't seen Junker Queen hardly at all, and so just seeing that brought out was kind of a change of pace.
Yeah, so I mainly played Junker Queen because I haven't had too much time to play the character, so I knew I could sort of practice it in this match, and went pretty well. Got to play the game, so pretty happy about that.
Yeah, overall, you were doing a stellar job. We've been kind of having our debate over here on desk of what we kind of think, you know, the top tanks are, and as we've been starting to kind of feel things out in the first few days of Overwatch 2, what have you really settled on as kind of your go-tos for choosing tank?
So I definitely think Zarya is probably the best tank, just really easy to like synergize with the team and also like carry potential, and Zarya is really good. But then D.Va is also really, really good too. I would say Zarya and D.Va are probably my 2 go-tos right now, just because D.Va also has boosters, 4-second DM, really good burst damage. She's kind of broken. And they're literally going to do a mid-season nerf on Zarya and D.Va because of how good they're performing right now. So those are probably the best 2 right now.
All righty. Well, it must be great going up against a big former rival UNLV and being able to beat them so soundly in this match. But Clear, you, if I remember correctly, you have joined Boise State through some more for some more exotic means, if you will. You've actually met them at HughFest, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I went to HughFest with the Boise team because I knew a few of them from online, like Chosen and Plato already. So I was sort of interested in seeing if they would be like the right fit for me for college, and then hang out with them there. Really chill group of people, and then I toured the campus eventually a few months after that, and really liked the campus. So knew that would be a good fit for me then. Both good campus and good people.
Alrighty, do you have any questions, Brenner?
If Diva and Zari get the mid-season nerf, who do you see emerging as the next main tank metas?
So when Zari and Diva get nerfed, I feel like the third best option right now is probably Monkey. So I think Winston would be really good if Diva and Zari get nerfed. And then Sigma's still really good on like really long-range maps like Junkertown and Circuit Royale. So I'd say Winston's probably pretty good standard, and then maybe Sigma for long-range maps.
Alrighty, well, I'll get you out on this final question, Clear. Will you, for Brenner's sake, just consider putting in a word with Bagel? Because Brenner, I don't know if I want to call it an unhealthy obsession or not, but really wants to see that Battle Mercy. So will you at least put in a good word for us?
Yeah, I'll let him know that next time he's got ult, it's game time.
Let's go.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for watching our coverage of Overwatch 2. Boise State beating UNLV and Northeastern. Top plays of the game are going to be brought to you by the Army National Guide. But before we get to that, we'll have a chance to nominate the player of the game for this particular match. And overall, who are your main choices? As I think production is going to give us some main choices.
I would stick to the same as the prior round of both DPS and the tank, because they were making the biggest plays and supported by the backline, who were not getting the DPS kills as I hoped for. So, well, they are the ones I would consistently like to highlight. I mean, we saw who got the 2 plays of the game of Clear and Chosen.
So it's going to be either Kel, Chosen, or Clear from what we're saying.
Yep.
I'm going to have to put my vote in for Chosen. I think that
I would agree with that.
I would think that mid-air Junkrat shot was
beautiful.
Just a little bit too much.
If he doesn't get player of the game, I would at least have that be as #1 in top 5, because the fact that you can knock someone up and then arc the nade perfectly enough to hit them and be low enough to get the elimination from that, you're practically playing Ashe, but a harder version of it, because you have the assistance of Bob. You know, he's going to always knock them straight up, whereas the mine will just knock them away in some direction. So really good player skill coming out from Chosen. So I would have to agree that Chosen's the go-to player of the game here.
Yeah, really good Junkrat players are terrifying.
Yes.
And it is going to be Clear, actually, giving him a bit of a nod just after we got the interview from him. Of course, he did. You were saying, you know, it's basically either all the DPSs or the tank, because the tank was playing so well, it was just another DPS.
Yeah, normally in prior old Overwatch, we always loved highlighting the off tank, and now that we no longer have that option, just the tank in general can do both the damage and hold the front line at the same time, because they've had so many good reworks, and Clears really showed that he's able to adapt to that and capitalize on it, especially on a tank that he's not very strong at, as he even mentioned that he's still learning a lot of Junker Queen, and he's able to perform on her very well, so well-deserved.
Nice job by Clear, getting the player of the game, brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central helps its members achieve financial success. Clear is your ICCU player of the game. Well, before we close things out tonight, we'll leave you with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuardGaming. Do you have any final thoughts to close us out, Brenner?
You know what my final thoughts are.
Okay, yeah, I think you've said it enough times already. We'll
Don't
leave
need
you
to
with
say
that,
it again. It's okay.
and we'll leave you with this, the top 5 plays.